Well, hi there. Welcome to the Obi Thorin Alliance. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we're doing another top 5. Check out the other top 5 that we did of the ranking the Rock movies. Quite enjoyable movie to do. And in today's video, we are doing top 5 most enjoyable shows we've watched on streaming services this year. If you can, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, comment down below what your top 5 shows you've enjoyed this year been. Very curious to know. Yes, you can go first, Luke.
Yeah, so first we'll explain the rules, which we'll do each time for the top 5. So today we're picking, it's got to be our top 5 streaming originals, and it has to be shows that we have seen in the last 12 months. They don't have to have been released in the last 12 months, it's just the top 5 we've seen in the last 12 months and must be an original for that streaming service. So with my top 5, I've chosen at number 5, I've gone with Utopia. So this is the American version, which was released on Amazon Prime Video this year. It sadly did not get renewed. It was one of my favourite shows of all time for given that it had one season. I really liked the premise. I liked where it was going with. I thought it was relatable with what's going on in the world with COVID. I thought it was a good series. I thought Rainn Wilson was really good in it.
Yeah.
But sadly, it didn't get a second season, which you were quite disappointed about as well.
Definitely, yes.
And considering the American version got 2 seasons, so
the British one.
Oh, sorry, the British one, which I watched and didn't like as much, and to think that they had content to write about because the first season was a copy of the first British season, so the fact they couldn't even just do the second season and copy what they did in America was really upsetting to me. So that's at number 5. At number 4, I've chosen Morning Wars, which is original to Apple TV Plus. It was kind of one of their marquee shows when Apple TV Plus came out. The second season is 1 episode away from being finished. I think this has been a really, really great show with a star-studded cast like Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell. It's really good at exposing the behind-the-scenes of what goes on in the world of morning news television, and it's just a very different concept. And I found it very, very interesting to watch, and I think most people would like it. And I think with such a star-studded cast, it's worth giving a watch to anyone that is a bit iffy whether it'd be their interest. It's with a lineup like that, you know it's going to be good. At number 3, I've chosen Loki. Loki was one of the shows we really, really looked forward to that came out on Disney Plus. It's by far the best Marvel series so far. The only reason I wouldn't put it higher is because it didn't blow my mind because I expected it to be good. It's like I knew it was going to be a good show. It was Marvel. It's what we came to expect. And I think the shows I picked that are higher than this were things that I didn't think I would like and I loved. So if we're rating on enjoyment factor, this was my 3rd favourite in terms of enjoyment. But just an awesome show. And if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. At number 2, I put When They See Us. This was a show that Jacob recommended to me. It's a limited series, so there's no more episodes of it. It's based on a true story, and it blew my mind because I wasn't expecting to be so good, and I continued then after to do more research and to watch future documentaries because I was really interested in what was going on in this show. So if you're into true crime, it's a great show to watch. It's semi-graphical, but it does surround themes of rape and violence, so that may not be for everyone, but it is a really well done limited series based on true events. Which that leaves me at number 1, which I've chosen Cobra Kai. So when I got into Cobra Kai, there was already several seasons out, and then there's a new season coming out in the next few weeks. This was a show that makes the list because it did get released on YouTube Red or YouTube Premium. So it was a streaming service originally, and now it's moved to Netflix. So it's still a streaming original. It's just not on the same streaming service it started with. And this just blew my mind. Unexpectedly good. I like the Karate Kid movies, but didn't love them because they were before my time. But this show was just a great way of revamping something that was once loved and bringing it to a new audience. It's been attempted with other shows and just not with the same success, but this is perfect. It's taken something that's kind of lame, like kids taking karate real serious in California, to being a really cool, gripping show, and just puts an interesting spin on the original thoughts we had about the Karate Kids movies. And it's each season is built on and brought in past characters and just done it well. Like, there's just very hard to floor it. So that's my favorite show that I've seen in the last 12 months as a streaming original.
Any that didn't quite make the list?
I wanted to add Power, which is probably my favorite overall show, but I was unsure if I should include it because in Australia it's on a streaming service, but in America it's on like a normal television service, like a kind of like what we'd call Foxtel. So I was iffy whether to include it, and I've talked about Power a lot, but I guess Power and its extra like spin-offs it's brought out, they are definitely streaming exclusives and they've been fantastic. And One Division would have been close to making the list. There's at least one other Apple TV. Oh, Ted Lasso. I actually regret not putting that in the list. That's definitely an honourable mention, because I mentioned before to you that I would have put that in there because that was probably my favourite. So I'll give it an honourable mention, but if I was to redo the list, I think Ted Lasso would have made it, and I maybe would have kicked out maybe When They See Us, but too late now. It gets an honourable mention. Okay, what about you? What's your top 5?
Number 5 is going to be Midnight Mass, and someone that doesn't watch horror generally, I was pleasantly surprised with what they did in the story, and I really enjoyed it. It's not for everyone, but I think how the show, it's very much a dialogue show, so if you prefer action or comedy and find a lot of talking boring, you're probably not going to watch it. But I just enjoyed the concept I saw coming from a distance, but it's just intriguing, and I recommend watching it. It has 7 episodes, a limited series, and I think out of all the Netflix shows that they have done with the limited series, it's probably the best one that's come out this year. Number 4 is The Night Of, and I think The Night Of is probably the best mystery crime drama that I've ever seen. That goes through a limited series. Basically, the concept is, I've talked about it before, but I think it deserves your attention, is that this Pakistani gets caught up in this game when he wasn't meant to go, or he was meant to go for a party, but he decided to, something else happened and he just got caught up with racial police, and then just the journey ensues, and I couldn't highly recommend it enough. Number 3 is Cobra Kai as well. I think it's definitely Netflix's one of their best original series. I just like how they make you think more about the movies. Not a lot of shows do that, but they do it in a clever way. Like, none of the movies, the movie makes you think that Johnny's the bad guy, but in this show it does it in a very clever way, and just the style of the show and how it's you didn't have to watch the movies, but you get the reference and the nostalgia and everything. I think it's, for a sequel or for a reboot, well, it's one of the best shows that's ever done it. I can't think of anything that's done a better job. Like, nothing comes to mind. Like, The Mighty Ducks, I would say the show is better than the movies, but that's an example. And then at number 2 is Invincible, an Amazon Prime original, and it's a anime, and it's based off superheroes, and I just think I also recommended it to Luke and did a recommendation. I just think it's as good as The Boys. I think if you love superhero shows, you're gonna love the things that happen, like, because it's not live action, more stuff can happen on the screen. So if you got an Amazon account, I would highly recommend watching it. Just found it the most enjoyable show on Amazon. And then at number 1 is Loki, and I just found Loki from a character that is the most mysterious and the most cunning. The show was really, out of all the Marvel shows, it's definitely the best one, hands down. No debate, no discussion. And I think it's done something that I can't think of that any other TV show has done, and it's done in the last episode. This is spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen the show, is that it reveals a villain in the last episode in a TV show for the next couple of movies, and I just think the show does its mystery and everything so fantastic that I just enjoyed it and had a blast. And I think out of all the stuff that we have talked about, it's been my favourite thing to review on the channel. Yeah, that's my top 5.
Any honourable mentions you didn't get to put in?
Ted Lasso definitely makes the list. I think because it's a comedy, I don't know, I guess I'm more the serious person, so out of all the Apple TV originals, that would probably make the list, but I just think these shows are better. And Morning Wars, but yeah, I think Morning Wars definitely deserves an honourable mention, and yeah.
Well, I guess because we were picking the ones we enjoyed the most, it changes the list. If we were to pick the top 5 best shows or the ones we'd rank the highest, I think I'd have a completely different list. I do regret not putting in Ted Lasso, and you mentioned Mighty Ducks. That would have been another honourable mention for me, because that was one of the biggest shows I've been looking forward to, and I don't think it disappointed. It was kiddish, so it's like, it's not for us. I don't really think it's tailored towards adults, but you know, that was a well done nostalgia show that they brought back characters that I loved, and they didn't ruin it. So that's the main thing, because most reboots ruin it.
Yeah.
This wasn't amazing, but it didn't ruin it. Cobra Kai not only didn't ruin it, it made the show's movies better, which is just different. Like, you could watch the movies now and you'll see things differently, and that's truly good writing when that's the case.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you liked our top 5 for enjoyment factor. Let us know if you agree or disagree. We all have different opinion. See you in the next video. Let the force be with you. Bye-bye.